Hey y'all, this is not a pretty video, no makeup, on my way to run errands with my mom, but I wanted to give a IVF update and my personal journey with it. So baby and I went to our first visit with the IVF clinic that we saw 2 weeks ago almost, and subsequently there are just some growing pain hiccups with a very new clinic with a very solid history in another state, transferring to Georgia. That being said, I'm not okay with being part of the growing pains. Not under these circumstances with what we're embarking on. I don't want to be part of the growing pains process. It may sound very insignificant to some people, but it's very significant to us. You know, the turnaround time for phone call follow-ups and the inability to have fluid connectivity with your technological components, i.e. accounts being set up and no information for said accounts. And I'm sure there are third-party, responsibilities and all that, but I don't really want to wrap my head around it. I just want to know that when I set up an account to have my blood work, tracked for our genetic testing and our, whatever labs we've got going on, if you give me a card with a 10, 20 digit code to input into the account system and pull up the tracking, even if it says we received your labs, they're not done yet, check back tomorrow, that is what it is. That's just the process. However, when you log in a week later and they say there's no record found for you or your spouse, that's a concern for me. And then when you reach out via email, I understand people are busy, they got other clients, but I'm not going to be a number. I'm not going to be, assembly lined through this process. And so I feel like 24 hours is more than enough time to reach out after you've received 2 emails of inquiry. And so I shouldn't have to pick up the phone on day 2.5 and call and get the receptionist, who, bless her heart, doesn't really know the procedures and blah, blah, blah. She's not my liaison. She's not my coordinator. And she felt bad, but her feeling bad has nothing to do with not being serviced. And for damn near $30,000, no, I'm sorry. The way my money is set up, not paying you to wait. That's not what we're doing right now. In an already emotionally charged, challenging environment, I don't know. I don't think that that's okay. One does not need to have to worry about the systems not working, the systems not being, on point. And, there are other little things like, they lost their coordinator maybe a week or so after we scheduled our appointment in December, and there were events scheduled for the incoming and established patients of the clinic, and the counselor just left or moved to another job or got fired. I don't know, but she wasn't there. So people like myself were showing up looking for the event that was supposed to take place on a given night, and no one's there and the doors are locked. There's no notification. I didn't get an email, and I found this out through another client that's going through the facility's treatment, and that's not okay. And then couple that with the fact that when I made my initial appointment 2.5 months out, I was not notified that they didn't have their certificate yet for embarking on treatments. So they weren't able to do certain level treatments at their facility at the time. had I, been notified that would have just been great to know, a good FYI. But what if I had said, hey, I think baby and I want to come in 2 weeks and start our process in 2 weeks? Would they have taken our appointment? Apparently so, because again, another patient that is, a client of theirs said, I couldn't do my particular procedure at the particular time because they didn't have their certificates in order as yet to do it. Now, subsequently, they got them and they had them in order by the time baby and I got there for our appointment. But again, communication, transparency, forthrightfulness, these are words and terms that are near and dear to my heart when it comes to conducting business or my medical care. I don't know, go figure. So right now, I personally am not feeling that particular clinic. I mean, I've heard everyone's accolades and kudos about how wonderful and how nice and how kind and generous and the staff is nice, but that's their job. You're taking $30,000 minimum from people. Yeah, I expect you to be nice. I don't expect you to be all fucked up on the surface. So yeah, that's not above and beyond. Their behavior is just what I call, standard operating procedures. What I expect when I go into somewhere that I'm giving you money, especially $30,000. So I didn't see anything award-winning or stellar about it. People were genuinely nice. Like when I say people, the front desk staff and the, receptionist and whatnot. That being said, the other side of the coin, when it comes to our consult, I know doctor is busy and has a lot going on, but I would think you schedule out time to give due time for consult. When I bring you 52 pages of medical notes and you don't take more than 10 minutes to scan through them, and we're sitting down with you and you're not going through the notes page by page as we consult, and our consult physically in office takes 10 minutes. I don't know. My mom's a speed reader, and maybe 52 pages in 10 minutes is easy and you can retain and process and regurgitate, but it did not feel synchronized with the content in my medical records with the conversation that followed the physical exam and lab work. So yeah, I'm just, the fluid nature of this for this particular facility is not making me happy. I've waited a week and a half to video about it because I wanted to move away from it, and I had a lot of other stuff going on, so I was like, let me process it differently and look at it from 50,000 feet, 25,000 feet, 1,000 feet, and see if I'm still feeling the same way. And every time I turn around, yeah, there's validation for my feelings. So baby and I are going to more than likely pursue another direction with regard to clinics and our pursuit to having a baby and starting a family. Slightly disappointing, but I'm okay with that as long as at the end of the day I know I get the best level of care. I get qualified, attentive medical staff that is transparent and that have procedures and protocols in place that are fluid and effective and functional. So right now I don't know what to say. I've said everything I can say. I'm not knocking anyone else's experience with this clinic, and I take nothing away from their, history of care and medical know-how as it relates to other clinics they have operating in other states. It's just in this state, in my personal experience, has thus far been lackluster, to say the best. But it may just be my personal experience. I'm not as indulgent with shit that just doesn't flow. I'm not indulgent with that because we're spending too much money, and time is of the essence, and the sense of urgency that every couple experiences when they're going through secondary infertility or primary infertility, or wanting to start a family late in life, or whatever your dynamic is that makes you have to seek out alternatives for reproduction. You know, it's very important that you feel represented, protected, and communicated with fully. You feel whole throughout the process, and this process is not making me feel whole. Well, anyway, that's my rant right now. IVF journals. I'll be back. Love you. Love me. Bye.